What's up, guys? This is Ian here, coach of your Ladner Lanturn, bringing you guys our Week 1 team builder for the NCL Season 3. That's right, we are back in the Nimbasa City League, of course, as I do run it, and we are taking on my good friend Tiff, or Tiffany von Tiffinshire, and her Calgary Flareons. Pretty fun matchup, I'm not going to lie. Looks relatively competitive on paper, so I'm excited. I think Tiff's got a really strong team. I helped her draft it, so I would hope that it's as strong as I think it is. Lots of really cool aspects to it. There's a sand aspect, so let's run through it. She has Celesteela, Sylveon, Greninja, Galvantula, Hitmonlee, Girafarig, Mega Garchomp, Celebi, Gigalith, Alolan Marowak, and Togekiss. Excuse me. Priority in Greninja with Shadow Sneak and Water Shuriken, Galvantula with Sucker Punch, Hitmonlee with Fake Out, Sucker Punch, and Mach Punch, and Celebi with Sucker Punch. Hazards in Greninja with Spikes and Toxic Spikes, Galvantula with Sticky Webs, Garchomp with Stealth Rock, Celebi with Stealth Rock, Gigalith with Stealth Rock, and Alolan Marowak with Stealth Rock. Removal options in Hitmonlee with Rapid Spin and Togekiss with Defog. 4x weaknesses in Garchomp to Ice and Celebi to Bug. So, first up, I'm not expecting Girafarig or the Hitmonlee. Both or either of them coming would actually probably be better for me than if they stay home. But I have not prepped for either of them very hard because I don't think that they're showing up. And again, I would be perfectly happy if either of them came. I really think that it gives my matchup a better opportunity if she leaves something else off and brings those. Anything else I think is coming. I'm really scared. I think mainly Celesteela, Sylveon, Galvantula, Gigalith, and Mega Garchomp are 5 that I'm 100% expecting. And then I think like Greninja, Togekiss, Celebi, and Alolan Marowak is like the last one thrown in there. So starting off, we've got Bronzong here, specially defensive Bronzong. She basically either has to run Fire Fang or Fire Blast on Mega Garchomp to break me, and I think it'll be Fire Blast, which is why I tend to run this. I can easily switch in on the ground moves, of course. Alolan Marowak destroys this even if I'm physically defensive, so there's no point in trying to deal with that. We're specially defensive. So Rocks are really important for me. They chip down a lot of her team. And her removal options aren't the greatest. That's something that we kind of failed a little bit on drafting her team. I am glad that she ended up picking up Togekiss at the end because it gave her another removal option besides the Hitmonlee. Excuse me. I went with Heavy Slam over Gyro Ball because I think if Galvantula comes, it would have webs, so Gyro Ball isn't going to be as strong. Well, actually, no, it would be stronger then, wouldn't it? Well, either way, I think Heavy Slam, it's a way to beat Sylveon. This is my main switch into Sylveon, especially if she wants to bring like a spec Sylveon. I can eat hits really well, and Heavy Slam will deal with that. Heavy Slam can actually deal with a lot of stuff on the team relatively, but Toxic's definitely going to help out a lot. And then I've got Charge Beam there just so I don't get completely hard-walled by Celesteela. I can Charge Beam up on it and maybe get some boosts enough to be able to break a sub. It's doing next to nothing to a standard defensive Celesteela, but might be able to do something later, because Celesteela can't do anything to me, but she can wall me with Celesteela and leech seed me down, so I wanted a way to hit it back. That is the Bronzong set. Next up is Tentacruel, bringing a Shuca set with Clear Body. So Clear Body means that I'm not going to get affected by Sticky Webs if they come out. And then the Shuca is there so that I can live a hit from the Garchomp and hit it with Ice Beam. Well, live a hit from anything. Bonemerang isn't going to care about Shuca because it only affects the first proc of Shuca, but that's just what I'm running that there for. Rapid Spin to get rid of webs, spikes, and toxic spikes. Well, T-spikes I'll absorb myself, but spikes and webs is the main thing. I'm not super concerned about... Well, no, I am super concerned about rocks as well, so I need the removal option. Yeah, Ice Beam is there for the Garchomp. Skull just hits everything else really well. And getting one layer of T-spikes up is going to be very important. Depending on what I see from her, I may or may not just lead Tentacruel and get a layer of T-Spikes up. I think that it's very clutch, and it'll be very key to get those up. She does not have a grounded poison type, so she cannot get rid of T-Spikes that way. She'll have to defog them or spin them away. Yeah, so that would just be perfect for me. If she's defogging with Togekiss, that means I can bring in something like Latias, Rotom, or Bronzong in on it. And if she's spinning with Hitmonlee, then that means Latias gets a free switch in. So I'm okay with that. Yeah, this defensive investment with the Shukaberry means that I will live... I'm guaranteed to live an Earthquake from Garchomp in Sand. So Sand Force boosted Earthquake, I live 100% of the time with the Shukaberry. Sand will knock me out after that, but it means that I can get a big Ice Beam off on the Garchomp before going down from full. Rotom-Frost is next, bringing his Choice Scarf Rotom-Frost, because Bolt Beam looks absolutely amazing in this matchup to me. Bolt Beam is Celesteela's downfall, and Celesteela plus Garchomp plus Togekiss plus Celebi plus Greninja is all weak to Bolt Beam, and I think that that's key, that like 5 members of her team is weak to that combo. And then it's neutral damage against everything else, so I'm okay with having that there. Blizzard just blows back Garchomp, there's like no way, and it can't carry Yachi Berry, so Blizzard is just absolutely amazing as coverage here. Volt Switch is really free, because I don't think Garchomp would want to switch in on Rotom-Frost, but who knows, that might be a bad situation, but I always have the backup plan in switching into Bronzong. Marowak is probably going to be her answer to Blizzard plus Electric moves if she brings the Lightning Rod variant, and Foul Play will blow that thing back, especially if it's got a Thick Club. I think Foul Play might one-shot it. So we'll see about that. I'm running max speed to outrun Girafarig, and max special attack, tiny bit of defense. Bringing an Assault Vest Entei, really cool Entei set this week with Sacred Fire, Stomping Tantrum, HP Ice, and Iron Head. I'm kind of considering what her options are for Sacred Fire switch-ins. That's the main reason for all of this. Realistically, there's only a couple things that want to switch in. So A, it's Greninja, which I don't care about because it's losing to Sacred Fire. Realistically, like, Sacred Fire will beat it. Stomping Tantrum is there for the Marowak, which is the other switch-in. And HP Ice is there for the Garchomp, which is, again, another switch-in to Sacred Fire. And then Iron Head is there for the Gigalith, which is the other switch-in to Sacred Fire. So I'm basically covering my bases on Sacred Fire switch-ins. I have the Assault Vest because I'm running 4 attacks. Just thought I'd slap an Assault Vest on there, see how it goes. This is a really easy way to deal with Celesteela unless it's got Earthquake. But I will definitely be able to take any special attacks from it for sure. I resist its Steel Stab, of course, and I can also switch it on Sylveon, and Iron Head deals with Sylveon. So I'm really happy about this Entei set. I switch it on the Bug moves from Galvantula and blow through it with Sacred Fire. So I think we've got a really solid Entei set here. I didn't want to run Adamant because I can't outrun... what was I not outrunning with Adamant? Mega Garchomp. I needed to be able to outrun Mega Garchomp. So we're running a Jolly set. I can do that, don't worry. Sacred Fire is not an event move on Entei. Flare Blitz and Extreme Speed are. So I do not have to be Adamant to run Sacred Fire. I've double checked, I've validated the team. I'll show you right now that I've validated the team and it's valid. I don't have to be the event set. Okay, anyways, now that we're past that, that's what the speed investment I'm running is for. On Entei, I'm outrunning Mega Garchomp. Tornadus is next. I'm running a Fire EMZ Tornadus set. Fire EMZ can blow through a few things on the team. One thing that I'm scared of is Gigalith with this, and actually Gigalith in general is really threatening, but Bronzong can come in on it and Toxic it, and that's kind of my main game plan is doing that. I've U-turned there. I wanted a bug move to be able to beat the Celebi with, and Torn can switch in on Celebi really easily and just get a free U-turn off. I think free momentum with Torn is like really key, so I'm looking out for that. Should be good. Fire MZ is there to blow through the Celesteela, as well as the Galvantula and the Celebi, so reasonable fire weakness going on here. It's not overly blown up, but I think that it's relatively there. I think Flying EMZ isn't really worth it to me. It doesn't beat anything in particular that Firium won't, except maybe Mega Garchomp, which I have Icy Wind for, so yeah, it shouldn't really be the biggest deal. I think Gigalith is still the main problem for this Tornadus set, and for my team in general. My best ways to beat Gigalith are Diggersby, Pangoro, and Conkeldurr, and I'm not bringing any of them for various reasons that I'll get into at the end of the team builder. Enough speed on the Torn to outrun Galvantula. And then max special attack to just blow things back with Air Slash, Icy Wind, and Heat Wave. I was considering a Life Orb set and running Z Rotom, but I really think that Scarf Rotom is going to be a lot better for me to be able to beat the Garchomp 1v1 and like actually outspeed it and hit a Blizzard, hopefully. So that is the Torn. It gets to run a ton of HP investment, which is fun. And then last but not least is Mega Latias, bringing the WestJet with Bolt Beam, Roost, and Substitute. I think I can get a Substitute up relatively easily on a couple things. One thing I'm scared of is Galvantula with the Latias, especially Scarf Galvantula. So I need to make sure that that thing's dead before I try and do anything sub-related, because Bug Buzz and Hyper Voice go through sub. So and from the Sylveon that is. I'm not sold on the subset, but I can easily sub on something like Celebi if it tries to Leech Seed me, and Celebi in general just has a hard time beating my Latias. Marowak's a problem for this, and so I'm kind of debating not running Ice Beam. Actually, you know what? That's a good point. I should really be running Dragon Pulse over Ice Beam. And I thought about running Calm Mind Roost, but again, I wanted to avoid like Toxic Spam from things like Gigalith and the Celesteela. So we're running Sub Roost, but there you go. I did change it to Dragon Pulse just because looking at the team now, like this Latias set would have been hard-walled by Alolan Marowak, and I can drop the Ice Beam for Dragon Pulse and still have the same effectiveness. It'll just be neutral damage against Celebi and the Garchomp, and then Sylveon's a problem, which means I'm going to need to get rid of Sylveon through Bronzong and Entei prior to that. So that should be good. Running out of speed on the Celebi Mega Latias for the Galvantula. So I can outspeed it, and then hopefully Dragon Pulse can two-shot it. I would imagine that it does, because I am running a lot of investment, max investment, special attack-wise, so there you go. Now that's the team. In terms of what I didn't bring, Kinkeldurr, alright, Kinkeldurr, Togekiss plus Sylveon, just beat it. 1v1, I can't handle that, and it has a reasonably difficult time beating Celesteela, unless I'm running speed investments. Kinkeldurr was a good way for me to be able to beat Marowak and Gigalith, but I just felt that those threats were too big, as well as Celebi. Like, she's got a lot of special threats that kind of just beat Kinkeldurr, and an Assault Vest set just didn't have what I was looking for out of a breaker this week. I really felt that Entei's Assault Vest user was better. I may regret that and say later on, oh yeah, Kinkeldurr was actually better with Thunder Punch, Ice Punch, Drain Punch knockoff. Wow, that would have been an amazing set. But again, the double fairy plus Celebi just sort of put me off there. Whimsicott, yeah, Celesteela walls Whimsicott. Galvantula can go through Subseed. Marowak walls Whimsicott and can revenge it very easily. Greninja outspeeds it and gets Gunk Shot to one-shot me. Celebi can beat it 1v1, so yeah, Whimsicott just really had a bad matchup, just overall. Diggersby I was very much considering because I can kind of spam Earthquake/Return, bar the Celesteela, which I can run Fire Punch for. I really didn't feel like a Scarf Diggersby was as effective as Rotom-Frost this week. I felt Rotom-Frost had a much better time and a much easier time of trying to break through her team. Diancie, regular Diancie, I just didn't see the matchup this week, honestly. Gigalith kind of just sits in front of it, and then Ironhead one-shots me. That's about it, really, besides Celesteela, which is obviously a threat to Diancie, so I didn't really see it necessarily. Like, it's not horrible, but it's not great either. That's just sort of my take on it. And then Pangoro was my other option. It was between Entei, Diggersby, and Pangoro for the last slot, and I ended up going with Entei over Pangoro or Diggersby. Pangoro had nice Parting Shot support. I felt that if I was running a Calm Mind Latias set, that Parting Shot support could have been really useful, especially Parting Shotting on, like, Greninja, switching into it or something like that. Well, I don't know why you do that, but Parting Shot on Celesteela would be really free. Double Fairy really kind of hurts Pangoro's chances of doing anything in this match, in my opinion. I just really feel that that's the way it is. As much as her team is sort of weak to Fighting plus Dark, the Double Fairy just really covers that so well, unfortunately. That's just pretty much all there was to it. I needed some defensive options, of course, which is why I ended up bringing the Spadef Bronzong, the defensive Tentacruel, and the Assault Vest Entei was mainly for those reasons, and that's why I'm not just bringing a ton of offense. Again, Conkeldurr may have been the better play, and we'll see. I've got a lot of time before this match, because I am filming this before the draft stream even goes live. I had built the team. I want to get the team builder filmed while I have my thoughts in my head, and we'll see if I end up swapping something out for Conkeldurr. I think if I swap anything out for Conkeldurr, it might be like it's hard to say. Mega Latias, maybe? Which would kind of suck because you really want to you want to build your team around your first pick, which was Mega Latias, and I don't know, Mega Latias is so strong, I'm so excited to use it as well. Yes, we'll see. I'm looking forward to the matchup again. Conkeldurr might have been a better choice. We'll end up finding out, I guess, when we actually get into the match. Diggersby, I had to run 3 moves, couldn't really reliably run Scarf, couldn't reliably run Double Dance against that team, so yeah, we'll see how it plays out. That is going to be it for me, guys, and I will catch you guys for the match.